Today on the net, online campaigning for 2 Mexicans accused of terrorism on Twitter. The people of Angola protesting against President José Eduardo dos Santos. And footage of a 4-year-old girl driving a car in China. Two Mexicans are facing up to 30 years in prison on charges of terrorism after allegedly starting a rumor on social networks. On the 25th of August, Gilberto Martinez Vera and Maria de Jesus Bravo Pagola incorrectly announced that shootouts were taking place near schools in Veracruz and armed gangs had taken away children. Their messages spread across Twitter and Facebook like wildfire, bringing chaos to this Gulf Coast city as terrified parents rushed to pick up their children from school. According to the authorities, this wave of panic caused 26 road accidents and completely jammed emergency phone lines. The accused, a mathematics teacher and a radio presenter, claim they were only resending information that was already circulating on the web. They have the support of a number of human rights groups that have been defending their right to freedom of expression. Amnesty International says the atmosphere of mistrust in Mexico down to lack of safety is to blame for the panic rather than the actual tweets. The drug war does indeed claim thousands of lives each year. The media ignores the subject for fear of reprisals from the drug gangs, and so people have been turning increasingly to social networks to post and seek information on violence and thus avoid trouble. And this is why many Mexican web users have leapt to the defense of the accused. An online campaign called I Too Am a Twitterrorist has been launched and includes a petition demanding the charges be dropped. Hundreds of demonstrators took to the streets of Angolan capital Luanda this weekend to protest against the lack of freedom in the country and the 32-year rule of President José Eduardo dos Santos. The opposition movement is being relayed online despite the people of Angola having very limited internet access. A number of amateur videos like these ones have emerged on sharing sites showing the protests in the streets of the capital. They bear witness to the tense confrontations between demonstrators and police in Luanda on Saturday. Several local media sources have reported at least 20 protesters were arrested by police after clashes broke out during the protests. Numerous others were reportedly injured by security forces. According to demonstrators, this man lying motionless on the ground was a victim of police brutality. The people behind the rally had recorded video messages like this one encouraging their fellow citizens to voice grievances with President dos Santos through a peaceful demonstration. A number of Angolan activists and well-known public figures have stressed that 32 years is a long time in power for just one person, and it's time for change. There had already been a series of protests against the president in May, as we can see here. Police have been deployed en masse across the country to disperse any anti-government rallies. Google has put together this interactive infographic which details the evolution of major web technologies and browsers, including Internet Explorer, Firefox and Safari. The visualization shows web users how the technologies have interacted to bring about the powerful web apps we have today. Two of the founders of famous file-sharing site The Pirate Bay have launched Bay Files, a legal download site. Contrary to The Pirate Bay, which doesn't host any pirated material itself, with the new project, web users will be able to download material directly from the site's servers. At the end of 2010, Peter Sunder and Frederick Nedge were sentenced to 8 to 10 months in prison for copyright infringement. But this time they're committed to doing things the legal way. Copyright lawyers are somewhat skeptical. This video, which is currently doing the rounds on sharing sites, shows a 4-year-old girl driving a car. It was filmed by her parents as they travelled through the city centre of Jinan in eastern China. And despite her age and size, the little girl seems to be perfectly at ease and in control behind the steering wheel. Obviously, this is not something you should try at home.